Hey everybody, I wanted to do a demo today of intuitive art making or process art for adult self-care. I feel like lots of times people come up to me and say, "Oh my gosh, painting looks so much fun. I wish I could paint, but I can't even draw a stick figure." Or, "Wow, it looks so relaxing, but I could never do that." And you can, I promise. It's really not that scary. Or maybe it is scary, but once you start doing it, I don't think you will find it scary at all. The most important part is just to show up, bring whatever tools you have, crayons, colored pencils, a pencil, doesn't even need to be colored. Literally anything you bring and put onto paper. If you can draw a stick figure, if you can draw your name, all you're doing is making a mark on paper. And that's all you need for this process. The first thing that I do is write an intention, which you see on the left side of my sketchbook there. The intention is just a positive statement about what I want to feel, what I want to be. In this case, I wrote, "I am at peace, I am safe, I play with the paint, I am safe to explore." Sometimes it's very vulnerable to paint, especially if I'm recording myself. It's a little awkward. So that was just a reminder to me that it's only paint. I can only do so much with it. I really can't ruin the world with paint, even if it's terrible. You'll notice also right now that this is all kind of turning to mud. This was the point of the painting when I thought, okay, this is terrible. What will I do next? And then I reminded myself to just take a little breath. I used the hairdryer to dry everything so that it would stop turning to mud and I could put some layers on it that wouldn't be impacted by the paint underneath. So when in doubt, I like to add white and clear the slate a little bit. And I did some scratching there. You can see scratching into the white paint shows the layer underneath that. I like that effect. And again, I'm not really thinking here. I'm just putting paint down. I'm trying to withhold as much judgment as I can from myself. Again, when I was feeling like it was looking terrible, I just took a breath and kept going. It's only paint. In this case, I'm adding some collage also. Sometimes collage helps me give me something to react to so I know what to do next. And I really, really, really like black and white collage on colored paintings. So you can do this or not. Whatever you'd like to do is the right choice for you. There's really no wrong answer with intuitive art. One of the things that I've heard a lot of process artists say is if you take a kindergartner and hand them a crayon or a box of crayons, they never say, "Oh, I can't draw, I don't know what to make." They never second guess themselves. They just pick up the crayons and start coloring something. My kids are the same way. I have two kindergartners and a preschooler, and if I give them a box of markers or a box of crayons, they are off to the races. My goal is to keep it that way for as long as humanly possible, and that they wouldn't get too caught up in trying to make something realistic, but they would just play with the colors. We'll see how long it lasts. So now that I've added the black and white and some collage paper, it's all turning blue, and that's okay. It's funny, I use the same set of colors for almost every painting I've done in the last 6 months, and every painting has a completely different color palette because of blending colors together. This one started out very muted and blah, in my opinion. And it's getting a little better. Can't go wrong with blue, right? Again, the hairdryer just helps me dry the paint between layers. If you're using colored pencils or crayons, you obviously won't have that problem. I'm using acrylic paint, so they do dry pretty quickly. If you're using oils, it might just turn to mud, and that's okay. Oils take a very long time to dry, but acrylic is pretty fast. Again, when in doubt, add some white. It was getting a bit too one tone, too that middle range of values. Getting some more light in here. Eventually I'll be getting some more dark as well. So that is actually a paintbrush that I taped to a tree branch. Sometimes I have a hard time loosening up, and it's much harder to control something that's taped on a tree branch. So the good news is it just helps me not know exactly what mark is going to come off the paintbrush. So when you're doing this, you don't have to be worried about composition at all. You can just be making marks. The goal in process art is to think more about how things feel to you. Does the color blue feel good to you today? Does the color red feel good to you? Does scribbling with a pencil really hard feel good? Does scraping into the paint feel good? Does painting with your fingers feel good? And just honoring those impulses and using your intuition to guide you. Process art is much more focused on the actual process of the art making, so what feels good, what doesn't, than what the art looks like in the end. It's hard to not think about what the end result is, but with practice, it'll become easier and easier. And it's really neat just to relax and let yourself go. Unfortunately, as you can see, I lost some of my video, so it skipped right to the end. And my witness writing that you see there on the page says, moody and sheltered, submerged. Red is too bold, but it needed some kind of punch, something to break up the gloom. Humor at the funeral, something silly at the hospital. Some things are too serious for their own good. Is it just a distraction? If so, isn't that okay? Everything is to pass the time in a way we like best. Sometimes it's too much, oftentimes it's just right.